Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Stitches and Coffee with Jurgita. So, my name is Jurgita, and today is May 1st, and I want to first of all say all of you who's the first time especially and stumbled upon my channel or somebody recommended, welcome, and hope you'll enjoy watching this video. And we'll go back to some older ones because I've been stitching for quite a few years and showing it to you, and you'll stick around for the future ones. And I'm always welcome comments. I'm trying to catch up on putting videos on YouTube, so my comment answering is a bit behind, but I'll catch up with that. And mainly I do cross stitch. Also, I do all kinds of types of different crafts, and not just with the needle. So you'll see that throughout, especially this year and upcoming years, I would imagine. So if just the cross stitching is not up to your par, I guess you say, then I'm sure I'm hoping that you'll find something else interesting to watch on my videos, where I'm learning something totally new and sharing with you all those details. And if you've been with me for a long time, especially, welcome again. I hope you'll enjoy this month's video. It's a StitchMaynia, even though there's no Facebook group anymore like that. But some of us hardcores who's been Stitch Maniacs from beginning will sort of continue this tradition. And I've never done like a full month, one new per day kind of thing. So I'm just continuing my own kind of version of StitchMaynia. So May 1st, and as usually each month, in beginning of the month, I start with my spoiled child piece that I have specific amount of stitches each month minimum I want to work on. And this is full cross stitch. Pattern is by Astra, so it should look like that. I'm just going to show you right now which pieces of the parts of the whips I'm planning, whip list planning to do. And this month I'm always trying to also add like 4 new projects, some of them like new techniques or totally new different crafts, and some from kits or magazines. So this is what I know I want to do for my whip list. So first is a spoiled child, and I'll talk more in detail once I get to this piece. But I have a minimum each month, and I try to do that in the beginning of the month. Second piece I want to work this month is my tea dragon. I just have it like a copy printed, keeping with me. I have one dragon already done, and this is my second part. And if you don't like a back stitching, then this project would not be for you, because as you can see, every scale is back stitched. Every like a steam, there's also regular stitches and back stitching with 1 or 2 threads. Sometimes regular stitch bottom thread is one color, top is another. So it's a lot of back stitching, but the end result is going to be amazing. And I'm planning to do all 4 dragons on the black fabric, so it's a little bit harder to stitch, but they will, I think, all will look very like a uniform. So that's my second project I want to pick this month. And the third one is let's see, it's by Chimera or Katrustin Rikadelki, and it's called the Town Drawing 5. So as you can see, if you can recognize, it's a London scene. I liked this scenery when I was there by the museum with the 2 lions, and it's rainy, of course. London Eye, Big Ben in here. So this I'm stitching also in full stitches, like a lot of full projects. Pieces I'm stitching nowadays with the half stitch, but this is full stitch piece. So that's what I'm planning to continue this month. And Rosewood Manor's designer Karen Kuluba, and it's called Inspiration. And I'm gonna continue working. I'm pretty much almost done like this first top portion of it, so just slowly gonna go down. And these three pieces were started in May. So if I started in May, I'll continue to touch up at least in May. If I can throughout the year portions, I do, but I want at least to get to them in May. And last one was not started in May, it was started January 1st, but since it's my biggest piece and I'm doing that in a half stitch, and this is what I try to stitch every month at the end of the month. So while I'm doing the spoil a child in the beginning of the month, this is to end the month. And I also have a minimum that I want to stitch, so I would get like a half this row by the end of next year, because I started big giant thing. If you seen my April video, then you would know where I left off. I'm about to start the girls like a finish hair and do her face, which I'm very eager to see. But this girl Ghost, it has a lot of blends and not cleared off pattern. It was free, so she didn't do a lot of cleanup. So there's lots of also like a confetti singular stitches spread out, but it's a giant piece, and that's what I'm trying to do every month, at least a certain amount of stitches. So these are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 from my whips. Like I said, I'm still planning to do 4 new starts, so we'll see. I haven't decided which ones I want to pick. I just know I'm gonna do one out of my list of 12 of like a new technique or style or craft, then something from like regular patterns and from pamphlets or kits. And I also have something from my magazine stitching list that I want to start. So we'll see what I start new, but I think I have plenty of things to stitch on right now. And let's start. And as always, I try to start the month with this work. It's called Spoiled Child, pattern by Astra. And I'm stitching this as a full coverage on a 16 count Aida, 2/1 full cross. So in total, this piece, when it's done stitching, is gonna have 231,300 stitches. So I'm working that since February of 2019, and it has 153 symbols, and that includes blends. So I fell in love with the painting, and I asked her to do the pattern. It's very old French painting, and each month I have right now planned for myself about 3,900 as a minimum to stitch. So of course I'm gonna try to finish this area that's left in a row. So I have about 5 blocks down, and I mark it, and I stitch from usually an area that I pick from a smallest like a singles, and then filling in with more and more of the stitches of the same symbol, and then continuing next area. And I'm doing parking on this piece. So I have not looked yet how much is left in this one, but if it's not enough, I'm gonna start the next row. But maybe I'll unroll it, because it's not gonna fit a whole thing below. So maybe you'll see then the whole piece in this month. We'll see. So we'll see how fast I can stitch that 3,900 stitches. But as you can see what it is in the picture and where I stopped, that it's not going to be anything very interesting. So the row like ends about here. So it's just going to be like her skirt part, and like a coat that she's holding of some kind. So it's dark colors going to be in this area. Nothing very interesting to see, but you'll see some nice folds and color pop out, just like here. So that's what I'm going to be working until it's all done, and then we'll see what I'll pick next. But this is my start of StitchMaynia. Today is May 1st. It might rain later on today again, like it's been raining, like storming in the past like week and 2 weeks with the tornado threats. But hopefully it won't give me big enough headache and make me sleepy, so I can continue stitching on this, and I'm very eager to finish this row. So I'll come back to you with, if not the whole area finished, then at least partially. Well, guess how many days I had to work on this area, and I can't believe, but I spent a whole practically 7 days. Well, it, I would say 6 days, because one day I was not stitching at all, and I did not even finish stitching as much as I wanted to, my monthly stitching. So I did about 3,300 versus like 3,900, but when I looked at this area to finish off, it also would have added almost 1,000 stitches. So since I've been working so long, I decided to kind of stop and not even finish this whole thing. And I'll continue this and then the next row next time. But as you can see, that's where it's more added in here. So like this darker stuff, although it's not as dark as in the picture, so a little bit lighter in here, that jacket, and more lighter colors than I thought it would be in this area. So this is, I think, where I'm gonna leave my spoiled child. And what, today is the 8th, so it's time to grab something different. And my husband is home much earlier. They sent him home and picked up my daughter from school, because we have upcoming threat of almost like a tornado possibility, and even possibility of having a baseball size hail coming through the area until like 8 p.m. So we're all prepping for that. Of course, car outside cannot be protected, or plants, but our also problem is a sump pump that we just a couple of days ago installed a new one in the basement. So as long as we don't lose electricity, then we should not be flooded in the basement at least. So we're prepping for that, having our shoes near the basement doors ready if we have to run, and took a dog out earlier. So prepping for that, and that's why I decided to quickly record this while there's still some sun outside. And we'll see how it looks all unrolled, I guess, next time in June. But that's where I'm gonna stop at this point. So you can kind of see it's almost done, this area. And the few stitches that had like up to 5 or 6, I continued in this area, so I wouldn't have to pick again the same color. So kind of continued it that way. So this is what my May is ending with from a spoiled child. And today is what, 8th of May 2024. And I figured today it might be a good day to start something new again. It's from my this year's planned new starts. And it would be one of these two designs from a magazine. I'm trying to start stitching more out of the magazines and get rid of my big stash of them. And there are two Joyeux Noel, if you say it in French, or Joyous Noel, one of these two designs. So I think I'm going to stitch both of them, but not in the same time. And it's from this magazine, in case if you wanted to stitch this, Cross Stitch in Country Crafts of May, June in 1988. So it's pretty old. This is what it looks like on the front page, and this is at the end. And I think today I'm going to start with the Santa, because so far I'm still in the Santa's periods, a couple of years that I'm trying to stitch. And this Santa would be about 82 high and 67 wide in the stitches. And I'm going to be stitching this on a 28 count fabric. And I chose, for both of them, I chose Ivory Joblin Even Weave. It took me a while to decide on what type of fabric I wanted, if I wanted on linen or even weave fabrics, and like what color. And I think this ivory might be the best. Cream is different color, and I did not want anything like on the white, so I wanted to have a little bit not like popping out the too hard way, but sort of like what it looks like that in the picture. It's approximate, at least, on this. And this design will have 17 DMC colors, and it's going to be a couple of them like with one threads. It should have a straight stitch, lazy daisies, French knots, ribbon, and gold beads. So if we look at the picture, then we can tell, of course, the back stitching, right? Let's see, let's look at this Santa for right now. So lazy daisies is just, I think at least it's going to be just in the border here, and ribbons hanging like off the, like a star in here, and off the tip of the hat, which has those beads that would be representing like I guess jingle bells. So that's what pretty much majority of those specialty stitches and things would be. And of course, I could change beads into something bigger or actual bells if I wanted to. So we'll see when the time comes to put it in here. And I don't know how many stitches this will have, but that's what I want to start. I don't know if I'll be able to finish this year. I kind of doubt it, but this year's purpose is at least to start projects. Once they started, it's easier for me to continue, just grab and continue, because majority of the whips I try to keep on their own frame, so it's like ready to go all the time. And on the 28th count, it would be about 5.86 inches by 479, and they both just I think off one stitch only different, so they're both pretty much the same way. And we'll see. So I think they're both gonna look good on this fabric. Both of them, the color is not too bright and not too dark to have enough staining out for the design itself. So I'm gonna start, and I guess I'll be back with you with some stitches already put in. All right, let's see. What can you recognize the shape of Santa's outfit? Like a hat shape, and where is his beard in here, and the boots. And I hope you can figure out. The white, of course, was not showing right away unless you kind of look it into it. But I think one day's progress is good enough for this, and I would know which way is up, which is down. So I'm gonna be continuing this sometime later. Don't know when exactly, but I'm hoping to pick it up at least once again this year. So luckily the storm that we were supposed to get, bad one, bypassed us, so we got some only like a hail falling. And today I have to go send by mail my voting for Lithuanian like a president and the referendum, so I have to go in the post office to do that. So it's I haven't done that in a while, very long time. So that's I had to relearn again how to do it by mail. There's all kinds of instructions how to do, because you have outside envelope, inside envelope, and all kinds of stuff. And let's see, tomorrow we're traveling down to Tennessee, and probably might be driving near the area which was devastated by yesterday's tornado. And I know like a town south of Nashville that was like totally destroyed, and we might have to see something like that. And in the stitching news, I'm hopefully gonna stop by one of the local libraries and reserve a room for a stitching meet. So hopefully that might be a beginning of a monthly gatherings. And there's a couple more members via Facebook that want to join us, so that's great. We might have growing groups very, very soon, even more than what we had. I think up to 6 now was, and it's going to be even more. So that's exciting. More stitchers from an area finding each other, so that's a great idea. So anyway, this is was was my new start yesterday for one day, and after doing a good amount in here, I'm very happy, and I'm gonna set this aside. It might be my traveling piece, I don't know, we'll see, but this is my folkish looking Santa. And the next piece I've decided to stitch is Inspiration by Rosewood Manor, Karen Kluba design. And as you can see, it's pretty much a lot of like a back stitching in here all around the frame with a tiny flowers that just a couple of stitches and you have to change it. So let's see what I have so far. What you see is what I've got. Just went on the border this way and that, and then I started to work on the outside, the big giant frame. And the way I do it, at least for me, it's much easier if I go, let's see, this side probably would be easiest to explain. I go one way, like doing the back stitching, and then when I finish, for example, I was coming this way to the end of one of the branches, then I start to go back and slightly like a puncture the previous thread, and this way I think I'm connecting a little bit better instead of like making just a regular back stitching, what I call it, like a sausage links. So this is, I think, for me at least, is a little bit smoother than doing just a regular back stitching. And then once I've done area like in here, I started, so I'm gonna finish this, and then I start going, because I have all those little branches, I can figure out then where the stitch is supposed to land. So I take one color and start filling out in the whole areas like here, but you have a very quite a big amount of like a single stitches in here, and I try not to drag the threads throughout, but at least I know where I'm supposed to position them, and I think that's how my stitching was going fairly fast, and I went all the way down pretty much to the frame, and once I fill this up, then I'm gonna start on the middle part so I can then roll up the frame. But the middle part will have to wait because it's petite stitching in here, much more minuscule, and it will take more time for a smaller area to stitch. So I don't know, I'm gonna work in here. I started sort of doing also this inner trellis, I guess I would call it, and I have only like one day to work on this piece, but I wanna put some stitches because I've started that on May of 2023, and it should be a total about 23,800 like 90 stitches once it's all done. So I need to get cracking on this, and we'll see how much I've done in that one day. And this is what you see after almost one day of slight stitching. So I'm sure you can tell that those veins, I went and did all of that. What's left is like a couple loose ones in this area, and went all those branches on the way back. And then I decided to start stitching this big, not the urn, what you call it, like a vase for the flowers like this one. So it's gonna take a while to do this, but just a simple regular excess should be in there. So just started and decided since I ran out of time, I'm not gonna finish off the row until the next time. So at least I finished this, and then once I pick up regular stitches, I can just go in the whole area here with just one color and try to finish it, and then pick up another color, sort of like what I did in here. So that's what I've done. And last night we came back with my husband from the trip to Tennessee. That's where we went to the wedding, and it took us about like 9 hours to drive, and we left the Friday early morning and drove almost to the location. We spent the night there because the next day we had a little time in the morning, and went to Pigeon Forge, if you know, like Dollywood there. And sadly, we didn't get chance to get the tickets ahead of time for like a Stampede show where they do like a dinner and a show. So just had a local dinner at a steak restaurant, and in the morning we had reserved the tickets earlier before we left for a trip to Titanic. It's 1/3 of a scale built on outside, and there is like I think 2 museums in US. One is Branson, Missouri, which is much smaller, but in Tennessee we had with like actual artifacts. So I'm gonna include, I don't know, like after this speaking part of mine, little video or at the end or separately of my trip. And we were strictly forbidden to film and take pictures from the first floor, where actual artifacts like chairs and keys and a pen and a pencil were there. And like a layout, we get to know with some things like where the rooms were. We were given cards at the beginning of some of the passengers, and at the end you had to find out if you survived or not as that passenger, and you find out tidbits about their life and what was their like a status. So I'm gonna include that. We were it was very interesting experience there. And yeah, it was very impressed, and you can kind of have a feel of what those people experienced in those few hours while it was sinking, because one room was specifically made cold, and you can touch the water, which was like a freezing temperature. You can touch the water and feel what those people might have felt at night that day. And all kinds of interesting pictures we've seen. So I'm gonna put that for all of you who've never been to such exhibit. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. But I don't know where exactly and when I'm gonna post it. So yeah, and then the wedding was very nice, although it's like in the middle of nowhere, just surrounded by trees everywhere, because it's by the Smoky Mountains. And enjoyed the evening. I had a meal, music. We were sitting with the bride's family table. My husband was the godfather of the bride, and one of the best friends from a college of bride's father. So we were at the family table and right there by the bride and groom. So we had some fun, and then next day we just got up, had breakfast, packed, and drove like 9+ hours home straight. So we were like very tired after that. And now it's was also Mother's Day in US yesterday. So all the kids gathered up. My husband's sister arrived for daughter's graduation. That's going to be on Tuesday. So kids had the gifts for me and my aunt for Mother's Day. So we had a family meal, and got a bunch of chocolate and interesting cookbook, Asian, different countries, and the flowers. So it was a nice surprise for my kids. And now I have to catch up on my stitching. I took one piece to stitch, which was like a cappuccino by Mill Hill. I'm going to show you maybe at the end of the month, because I take that piece also for my stitchy group meet, and slowly stitching on that one. So I'll show you maybe at the end of the month, and just little by little I fill it in. So that's this short talk about the trip, and that I stitch in right before that. So I'm gonna pick something else next, and I'll show you in a second. And today is May 13, 2024, and I'm decided to continue this year's plans for new starts and pick up this piece. So you see all my supplies here, and this is from a magazine. It's called Christmas All Through the House. It's going to be some specialty stitches with 2 pieces. And if you're curious, this is what the front of the magazine looks like from September, October 1994, Cross Stitch and Country Crafts. So if you're looking for that pattern, this is where you would find. And like I said, this is will have like a specialty stitches, as you can see, and it's compiled from 2 parts stitching. So the second one gonna be in here that needs to be placed specifically, because as you can see, the like a light would have to fit inside this window, and so is the tree. So I think I'm gonna start first stitching the outside area, and then by then I can figure out how I wanna to stitch, just in case to be I think safer that way, because more stitching is involved on the outside versus what is inside, at least when you can see here. So let's see what it required. I did some substitutions, and just was looking at like a color parts, and that's what I did. And it needed platinum color Dublin linen and 36 count Edinburgh linen. So these are the colors of the fabric I'll need to cut. So you can see it's a cream color Dublin linen. Instead of platinum, I thought might be a little bit softer color in here, linen. And this antique white, it was, I think I might have gotten just white, or I've written somewhere that's needed. And some of the threads, like a 12 count DMC cotton pearl, and then all kinds of sparkles in here. Like I said, I did some what I needed, like a glisten gloss rainbow, and some just got like a cryonic, and there's one DMC thread in here, and you can see that it's very shiny, like a blending filament in here. So I think majority of that is going to be just stitch for decorations, like on a tree, because not a lot is going to be involved in doing like a frame for the house itself. And I think it's going to look amazing because I'll have to like you can kind of see up close where specialty stitches and satin stitches is going to be involved, like in here up close. So can't wait to see and start. I like how the frame was also mats cut out and done like this. So I don't know if I would do it like this, unless I take it somewhere to cut it to the size. But this is what I want to start, at least to start. I don't know when I'm going to finish. I'm not going to be in a big hurry to finish, but for you this year is at least to start this. And if you're interested, designer is Patricia Andrele. I'm hoping I'm saying it correctly. So this is what I'm starting right now. So I'll put in the frame and start the outside piece, and I'll come back to you with some stitches put in. And this is what it looks like after 1 day's stitching. So as you can see, I have a roof line already showing. So majority what I've done here is just the satin stitches with the white number 8 pearl cotton, and just getting more like a frames to stitch. Also I did the regular crosses with the DMC thread also in the roof line, and then I picked another color that needed and started doing inside this border. So this is where I think I'm gonna leave it out. I ran out of thread and did not finish those excess right here in those 2 corners, but that's all right. I'll be using it somewhere down below too, so that's where I'll pick up. Right now I just wanted to start going like as wide as possible as needed. So this is pretty much what it should be the width. Of course, I did not go all the way in this area, so you can kind of figure out how big this piece is going to be in the width at least, and it's going to be a tiny bit longer than the wide. So I think the beginning is pretty good, and I'll know when I pick up next time which one is going to be the top, which is the bottom side. So that's it for this piece, and next I'll grab something else. And the next, I'd like to pull out my tea dragon. It would be my second dragon being stitched for a group of 4. So I'm planning to do all 4 of them, and all 4 would be on the black linen fabric, 32 count, I believe, fabric. So let's see what I have as of right now and compare what it's supposed to be. So as you can see, the moon, I guess, or a sun is here, but there's lots and lots and lots of backstitching outlining like every scale of a dragon everywhere, and the stem itself is also quite a bit to stitch. Even the regular stitches in the moon, at least it was sometimes one leg going one way is one thread color, another is another one, and sometimes the top thread is going even in a different direction than usual, and of course the back stitching is also 1-2 threads, and it needs really have a lot of attention being used on this piece. So as you can see, I've been like working, filling out the area, and start to put in some of the back stitching in there, and then going down, and that's how slowly. So still lots of back stitching to do in this area, as you can see by the picture. I know the printed version is not very good, but all those stitches. So right now what I had left is a 2 thread. For back stitching, there's going to be with 1 thread also. So don't know what area I'm going to be working on, continue full stitches or try to fill in back stitch, but definitely I'm not going to leave all the back stitching for the end, because it's going to be humongous amount. As you can see, there's a stem, there's all those scales in here, and this is going to be probably the easiest part to play, because all the leaves here again will have the back stitching, but majority I think back stitching is going to be in this area. So this is what I have right now, and I'm planning to spend several days on this little dragon, and we'll see, I guess later on, for you going to be a few seconds, what it looks like then. And ta-da, after 4 days of stitching, this is what I've got. So I'm sure you can tell the difference now, how much you've grown. So I started that with 28.8% done, and now I have a 44 or something done. So I think I jumped quite a bit by, what is that, 1/5 extra. So you can practically can see that up to like this point, all of that is done, all the back stitching is done, except a little bit on a bumblebee or just a bee left a little bit to do. I've done some stitching on here already, you can tell by the wings, and a little bit in here, but there's just a tiny bit on the outside. Maybe you can see like black and black back stitching here, outlines, but same would go around the whole circle. I had to do outlines of that, and as you can see, there's at first I thought, what a weird stuff, it's like 2 eyes, but there's an eye and there's like a light reflection in it. And of course, there's lots and lots of the back stitching. You can tell where the 2 threads are, and when there is 1 black thread in here. Although I was a bit surprised in this light part in here. When you look at the picture, let me pull up the picture here. When you look at the picture, there's some kind of slightly tan colors, but I was looking at my threads, and there was no threads that were tan with those numbers, unless the designer mixed up the number itself. But this is what I've got, and it doesn't look bad, because the middle it still should be something like this light, and there's more like a steam coming out. You can see out of his nostril coming out. in here, and like a little mustache coming out, and there was lots of steam, several different colors in here going on. And this is what it looks like. So as you can see, I started already the bottom part in here, all those leaves. If we look with the comparison in here, you can tell like leaves are, or no, it's arm, like a arm with the nail is going to be coming out in here. So this is where the tea itself color in here starts. So you can start to see some of that in here. So I was just trying to kind of finish up this area so later I can work a little bit more in this, and then I'll have to roll it up because it's not going to fit in my frame fully. And this is what it looks like right now. I don't know when I'm gonna be pulling out next, but I was very excited to stitch, of course, on a pure black. I had the big sheet of white paper, and I positioned my lamp in such a way that part of it was in here, part behind, so it was bouncing off the white paper more, and that's how I was stitching. And of course, the back stitching was a lot of looking back and forth where exactly I should put in, because as you can see, there's all kinds of mixed in things in here, and like outlining in this area, and like you can tell that this stable looks totally different than here on a light background. Totally different look, but I love it how it's popping out on a black color. And it's almost halfway done, and majority of the back stitching was done in here. So that should fly a little bit more faster, especially this middle part. But I guess you guys will see this next time, sometime, maybe even this year. We'll see. So that's all I have to show you of my progress on the Tea Dragon.